All right, so this was my wager from this past week's slate of games. These were all 4 games that I had called in my previous video, where I had predicted the money line wins for each team. So pretty much what I did here was, well, first of all, if you look at what the odds would have been before this bet was placed, if I had placed this bet before the game started, is what I'm trying to say, this would have only been about $600 of a win if I had placed it before the game had started, just based on the odds. Every single one of these teams was the favorite, a slight favorite. Besides the Raiders, I believe the Patriots were a slight favorite. Hell, the Raiders was the only upset on here. So the reason that I didn't place this bet before the game started is because a couple of reasons. One, I was pretty confident in these 4 teams winning. And so because of that, and the odds were decent, but I usually like to shoot for like 10 times my money or more. I usually like to get essentially plus 1,000 odds. So you bet $100, you get 1,000 back. So this was plus 1457. You bet $100, you get $1,457 in profit, and then obviously original 100 back. So that's what happened here. What I did was I timed it up during the games when I thought there was the best odds. I will say in these games, because I had these 4 selected and I just kind of watched the odds as the game goes on. There was a point, probably start of the third quarter, maybe midway through the third quarter, where the odds were like 1150. And I wanted to place it, but the odds change so quickly. And then when plays are under review and stuff like that, it can put one of your legs on pause. And so because of that, I didn't get the bet in. I was pretty disappointed because after that, based on how these games had been playing out, it kind of dropped down to like 800 and then 600. And so I kind of got lucky with the Steelers toward, I think it was the end of the third quarter. They were not doing well. Let's see, what was that? Steeler game. So right around here was when I placed it, right around the end of the third quarter. It was 26-17 Jets. I was very confident the Steelers were going to get this win. 1, because they always pull out wins like this. 2, because I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Justin Fields. 3, because early in the season, the Steelers always kind of get these come from behind wins. Later in the season, you can't trust them as much. But as far as betting early in the season, they're a very good team to bet on. And I just didn't see Justin Fields was doing good. The Steelers defense couldn't stop him, which was scary. But it was mainly the running game. They couldn't stop him in the passing game either, but I just didn't see him being able to drive down on the Steelers. It's not something that he really has a history of. So I was very confident that the Steelers were going to start scoring points, and that even if they were going to allow more points, which it looks like they ended up allowing 6 more points, so I guess 2 more field goals, they weren't going to be giving up touchdowns. So I placed the bet right at this point in time when the Jets had a 65% chance of winning, which equated to the plus 370 odds. Also, because time is running out in the game, there's only 1 quarter left. That increases your odds by quite a bit. So you got to look out for things like that. At this point in time, all the other games, those teams were favorites, not major favorites, which is why the odds are still pretty decent. So if we kind of just look through, all these games started at the same time. So at the end of the third quarter, the Bengals were up. Same score that the game ended that, actually. They were up by only 1 point. Looks like it was second down, but close in midfield for the Browns. I just figured that even if they scored, 51% chance for the Bengals winning. It's very unlikely that the Browns are going to get a 2-point conversion, and then the Bengals aren't going to have an opportunity to score with the whole quarter left. So I went with that. Bucks, let's see, where were they at? All right, so the end of the third, the Bucks were up by 4. And it looks like the Falcons had just got a field goal. So 71% win probability here. This one was also a no-brainer. Figured with a whole quarter left, if the Bucks weren't going to score a touchdown, they'd at least get a field goal, be up by a touchdown. And it'd be a lot just for the Falcons to tie it. This game ended up being super crazy because of the Falcons did get a touchdown with like a minute left on like a 4th down. Yeah, here we go. That was crazy. And then the Bucks, which I would have assumed just marched right down the field, and then they get a touchdown with like 50 seconds left. And then the Falcons march all the way down, and then they should have got what is this, a 34-yard field goal, I think, or 33-yard field goal. No, sorry, 43-yard field goal. He had 17 yards to wherever it's at, so that'd be 36. 43-yard field goal, and they missed it to tie the game. So got a little bit lucky there, but that's the NFL for you. I mean, the Bucs were pretty much winning the whole time. As you can see, they should have never let the Falcons back into it. Bengals kind of the same scenario here. They were projected to win like the whole time. And then the Browns kicker missed a kick at the end, which obviously helped the Bengals because it went from like a 45% chance of winning to 72% chance of winning. But even if he made it, the Joe Burrow would have had 2 minutes and 25 seconds just to get a field goal, which would have happened. So I think even if the Falcons had tied it, even if the Browns had gotten a lead, the Bucs and Bengals were going to come back and win. And then finally the Patriots and the Raiders. So this game started off with the Raiders taking a lead. As I was kind of watching this, this is early. The Patriots get a lead. And I'm kind of thinking, so let's just start third quarter right here. So the Raiders are up by a touchdown, same thing. If you're up by a touchdown with a quarter left, you can pretty much guarantee the win. And then that's when it ended up playing out. They held it all the way, got a field goal. So they kind of kept their lead there. So with bets like these, what I like is that you really just need, if you're pretty sure about, however many other teams, in this case, it was 3 others, you really just need that one team. And if you feel really confident, and unlike I did with the Steelers, to come back, you've got a really good shot at making a decent amount of money. So the Steelers, obviously, the plus 370 carried this whole bet sheet. I'm surprised that these odds are still as good as they were when most of these teams had a 3, 4, or 7-point lead with the whole quarter left. But that's what you got to do, honestly. It's, if you try to get a plus 370 with like a plus 250 or plus 370 with a plus 100 with a plus 150, it's just not likely that 3 things that shouldn't happen all happen. But if 1 out of 4, you only need 1 out of 4 to happen, and you like the matchup, which I did, I definitely say it's worth placing the bet. So that's how I won it. This week, kind of watched the odds. So that's what I'd recommend doing for future weeks is, as I place my money line, who I think is going to win the video, before the game even starts, if you watch certain teams that you like, and then you try to time it up, you're going to get yourself the best return on your money.